What's going on, world? Coming at you guys again. We got another quick video. Reparations. Let's talk about it. So, for the past few elections and many of decades, black people, or foundational black Americans, have been talking about reparations. So, let's talk about reparations. My 7th executive order as president will be reparations for all foundational black Americans. Now, in order to qualify as a foundational black American, you must have history or lineage in this country. If you are alive today, that means that your father, mother, grandfather, grandmother, great-grandfather, great-grandmother, someone will have had to have been born here in America back at least to 1912. If you have lineage in America as a foundational black American, whether paternal or maternal, and that ancestor was born by 1912, right? Then it is highly likely that your lineage comes from slavery. Because the likelihood that your ancestor, if you're a foundational black American, that they were born by, say, 1912, before 1912, slavery was abolished in 1865, which means there's a highly high chance that your ancestors were slaves. They came from slavery, or they endured or witnessed slavery in some form or fashion. That's an inevitable reality, and that's an inevitable fact. Okay? I am not aware of any foundational black Americans that immigrated to America after 1912 or before 1912 through the slavery. Now, this also includes, we have to recognize, of the slave codes, Jim Crow, and that all happened all the way up to about the 40s, maybe the 50s, right? In which foundational black Americans, like your parents or grandparents, would have had to live through, had to suffer and endure. So we're talking about from 2026 all the way back until, maybe 1492. Depends on how far back you can trace your lineage. But if you have ancestors, grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents that have birth certificates that were born here in America as early as 1912 or earlier, then it is safe to say, in my opinion, that you had to endure the prejudiced, biased, and racist environments of America. And it is a very highly likely reality that your ancestors had to deal with slavery. With that being said, reparations will be issued out to all foundational black Americans that can trace this lineage. And we can also utilize DNA, which gives the opportunity for more evidence to support the foundational black American perspective in coordination of receiving reparations. Now, reparations will be no property taxes for 100 years. It will be no income tax for you. It will be no income tax for your children, and no income tax for your great-grandchildren. It should be at least 4 generations, right? That should give about a century. After that, we're going to talk about tax returns that happen every year. For every foundational black American that qualifies within this historical lineage of being an American citizen and having lineage here in this country, every individual will receive a $1,000 tax receipt. So when you file taxes at the end of the year, this won't be earned income credit. This wasn't any form of a stimulus. This will be a direct payment from the United States Treasury to every foundational Black American of $1,000 per foundational Black American in that immediate household. That means if you have a household to where it's a mother and a father, that's $2,000 right there. For every child, it's $1,000. And this is going to continue in the same correlation as the no income tax as well as the property tax. It's going to be for about 100 years. Okay? So, at the end of the day, we are all understanding and recognizing how foundational Black Americans are still struggling. And we have to change the narrative, because America is not deporting individuals. What we're actually doing is we're starving and depriving individuals to the point to where they become feral. They become barbaric, right? And we see high crime, high violence, etc., because unfortunately there's not a lot of opportunities. So we're going to work with the American people, and we're going to work with our foundational Black Americans, and we're going to continue to push forward to make sure that we can bring America together as a whole. Because within these concepts, within these perspectives, we have to ensure that we are keeping everything fair and impartial, with life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for all Americans. Now, this will also include tutoring skills and services through organizations as well as companies like Khan Academy. Khan Academy is a great resource for tutoring and learning, and I believe an individual such as, I would say, Elon Musk would have the capacity to sit down and to help develop an artificial intelligence scholastic program to where individuals can use virtual reality training for blue-collar jobs, so that they have the application and understanding of how to negotiate a technical job using virtual reality, as well as having an artificial intelligence tutor to facilitate introduction as well as teaching and tutoring for individuals whom are looking to get involved with skilled trades, right? I believe that is the future, to where we saw it with COVID, to where we were teaching through Skype or Zoom. I believe, and I've been thinking about this for over 10 years, to where we can have virtual reality with school tutoring. We did it in the military to a certain degree. They were called correspondence courses, right? A lot of this stuff can be done online, and you see places like Khan Academy who also offer similar pathways for learning. So, this would cover property taxes. This would cover income tax. This would cover taxes coming back for each individual. And this would cover some form of economical support to facilitate income through a job, whether you want to go into your own business or, you want to learn more scholastic educational attributes in order to qualify for a job that needs a degree. These are the initial starting points for reparations, and this, again, will be my executive order for all foundational Black Americans.